What if you woke up one day and realized you'd spent years building someone else's dream instead of your own? That moment of clarity hit Sarah like a lightning bolt. Sarah, take us back to your corporate life before YouTube. What was that environment really like?
It was soul-crushing. I worked 60-hour weeks in marketing, always first in and last to leave. From my corner desk, I watched the sun rise and set without stepping outside. My boss actually told me once, "We don't need you to think, we need you to execute." That's when something inside me started to crack.
There's often a specific breaking point for people making big life changes. Was there a moment when you knew you couldn't continue?
Absolutely. I'd led a major campaign for months, pouring everything into it. The night before presenting, my boss completely rewrote it without consulting me. During the meeting, executives praised him for his innovative approach, while I sat there, invisible. I fled to the bathroom and had a panic attack. Staring at my reflection, hands shaking, I realized I couldn't spend another day suffocating my creativity to build someone else's empire.
Walking away from financial security isn't easy. What fears were you battling?
The fears were paralyzing. I'd built this safe life, steady paycheck, health insurance, retirement plan. Everything depended on that corporate salary. I kept thinking, what if I fail? What if 6 months from now I'm broke and begging for my old job back? But eventually, the fear of regret outweighed the fear of failure. I couldn't bear imagining myself at 80, looking back at a life spent making other people rich.
So when did YouTube enter the picture? What did it represent for you?
YouTube became my lifeline after that panic attack. I'd come home emotionally drained and watch creators who seemed so free, building businesses around their passions. Initially, it was just a creative outlet where I could express myself without approval. The more I researched, the more I saw it could be both a business and a creative endeavor. That's when it became my exit strategy.
Tell us about those early days of content creation. How did you even begin?
It was hilariously bad. My first setup was my phone propped against books, filming in my living room with terrible lighting. I knew nothing about editing, so my first videos had awkward pauses where I'd mess up. I recorded my first video 17 times because I kept stumbling over my words. But creating something 100% mine felt deeply satisfying, even when it was terrible.
How did your friends and family react to your YouTube career move?
Most thought I was having a quarter-life crisis. My parents were concerned. My dad kept sending me job listings for months. My sister was my rock, though. She said, "I'd rather see you fail at something you love than succeed at something that's killing you." That became my mantra during the tough days.
What did those first month's statistics look like?
Humbling. My first video got 11 views, 8 probably me checking if it uploaded correctly. I ended with 32 subscribers, mostly sympathetic friends and family. The algorithms ignored me completely. But those tiny numbers felt more meaningful than any corporate achievement because they represented real people connecting with my creation.
So how did you leap from humble beginnings to success? What changed?
The breakthrough came when I stopped treating YouTube like an escape and approached it as a business, on my terms. I studied analytics obsessively, learning what kept viewers watching. Instead of chasing viral moments, I focused on genuinely serving those 32 subscribers. The shift was moving from please like me to how can I solve problems for real people? That's when everything changed.
Serving an audience sounds simple until you're staring at a blank content calendar, wondering what makes you different from the thousands of channels doing seemingly identical content. The secret to Sarah's success wasn't finding an empty niche. It was identifying the invisible gaps in niches everyone claimed were too saturated to enter.
When I started solving problems for real people, I immediately hit a wall. Every time I thought of a great idea, a quick search showed 10 channels already doing it better, with fancier equipment and years of experience. It was paralyzing.
So how did you move past that paralysis? Most creators get stuck in that exact spot, feeling like everything worth doing has already been done.
My frustration actually led me to ask better questions. Instead of wondering, is this niche too crowded? I began asking, what specific problems in this niche aren't being solved well? That shift changed everything. I created my niche evaluation matrix. Imagine it like a treasure map that helps you find hidden gems in a crowded marketplace by matching your authentic interests with untapped viewer needs.
Can you walk us through what that process looked like?
First, I listed topics I genuinely cared about, areas where I had knowledge or was willing to learn deeply. Then, I used YouTube analytics and Google Trends to see which topics had consistent viewer interest. The key was finding topics with staying power rather than temporary popularity.
Many creators stop at that surface-level research, but you went deeper, right?
The real breakthrough came from my competitive analysis. I studied channels in my potential niches, both successful and struggling ones. I analyzed their content strategies, engagement levels, and comment sections to understand what viewers truly wanted but weren't getting.
And what surprising pattern did you discover?
Even in the most crowded niches, there were these content gaps, specific viewer needs that remained unaddressed. In personal finance, most creators targeted people already familiar with investing terminology. Almost no one created truly beginner-friendly content that assumed zero knowledge.
So instead of avoiding competitive niches, you actually embraced them?
Exactly. High competition niches often had higher engagement rates and better monetization potential. The data showed that personal finance, tech, and health topics had significantly higher CPM rates. My approach wasn't avoiding competition, but finding my unique angle within established markets.
How did you test whether your approach would resonate?
I created pilot videos, simplified test content in different styles. Instead of investing 15 hours in one polished video, I'd create 3 quick versions with different approaches to identify what resonated before committing to full production.
Was there a specific moment when you knew you'd found your niche?
It was the data that convinced me. I tracked competitor strengths and weaknesses in my content gap analysis spreadsheet. For each potential topic, I listed what existing creators covered well and what questions their audiences still asked in comments. Topics with high search volume but low quality existing content signaled opportunity.
So your breakthrough technique was essentially finding questions people were asking that weren't being answered well?
Yes. Before my approach, I was creating generic financial content competing directly with established experts. After implementing my system, I focused specifically on people intimidated by money talk. My competitors created content for people who already understood investing. I created content for people afraid to start. This complementary approach led to collaboration opportunities rather than competition.
That's fascinating, because it contradicts the common advice to find a niche no one else is in.
Empty niches are usually empty for a reason. No audience, no monetization potential, or no staying power. The real opportunity lives within established markets where specific audience segments remain underserved.
After nailing down her niche, Sarah faced another challenge, turning her vision into actual videos people would watch. What if I told you the difference between struggling creators and successful YouTubers isn't talent or luck, but simply having a reliable system? Behind every overnight success is usually a well-designed process that transforms chaos into consistency.
When I first started, I was drowning in the content creation process. I'd spend days just thinking about what to film, then hours recording multiple takes because I didn't have a script. Editing became this endless nightmare where I'd waste entire weekends trying to salvage footage that wasn't planned properly in the first place.
Walk us through what your content creation process looked like in those early days.
Picture a student cramming for exams without notes. Monday, random inspiration strikes. Tuesday, grab camera, start filming with zero plan. Wednesday, realize halfway through I have no clear point. Thursday, try to salvage unusable footage. Friday, give up in frustration. The cycle repeated weekly. I handled everything myself: research, scripting, filming, editing, with no organization. Some weeks I'd publish nothing. My channel was like a machine with missing parts.
So what changed? When did you realize you needed a more systematic approach?
My breakthrough came after 3 months of burnout. I saw that successful YouTubers had systems, not just talent. I created my content blueprint, a repeatable workflow that transformed my academic chaos into a well-oiled machine. This blueprint takes me from idea to published video with clarity and purpose.
Can you share the specifics of this content blueprint? What does that actually look like?
It starts with my Sunday planning sessions. 2 hours of focused research using TubeBuddy for keyword analysis. I look for topics with high search potential but manageable competition, finding that sweet spot where people are searching but quality content is lacking. Once I select a topic, I create a structured outline with specific sections, including the hook for those crucial first 30 seconds. Did you know that maintaining viewer interest in that initial half-minute dramatically increases the chances they'll watch the entire video?
How do you script your videos to keep viewers engaged through those first 30 seconds?
I create curiosity bridges. Instead of generic welcome back intros, I jump straight in. What if I told you that most people are making these 3 investing mistakes that cost them thousands? This signals immediate value and creates a reason to keep watching.
How do you balance structure with sounding authentic on camera?
My script-to-speech method works wonders. I write conversationally, practice the key points rather than memorizing word for word, and build in pattern interrupts. Unexpected elements like personal stories that maintain viewer interest while following my framework.
How did you transform from publishing sporadically to maintaining consistency?
I implemented batch production. Mondays, research and outline multiple videos. Tuesdays, script writing. Wednesdays, filming everything for the week. Thursdays and Fridays, editing. This approach took me from struggling to post monthly to consistently uploading weekly high-quality content. Channels with weekly uploads experience about 30% higher engagement than random posters. My clear quality standards, 1080p minimum, clean audio, proper lighting, and 10 to 15 minute sweet spot, give viewers consistency they can count on.
If you had to identify the single most important element of your content creation system, what would it be?
Without question, my content calendar. Planning 4 to 8 weeks ahead transformed everything. I align topics with trends, incorporate viewer feedback, and ensure content variety. This advanced planning means I'm never scrambling for last-minute video ideas or missing upload deadlines.
With her content calendar providing structure, Sarah still faced YouTube's greatest mystery. Why do some videos explode while others barely get noticed? What if everything you've heard about beating the algorithm is fundamentally wrong? Sarah discovered that behind the apparent randomness lies a pattern most creators never recognize. The algorithm isn't your enemy. It's simply a mirror reflecting what your audience truly wants. Sarah, before your breakthrough, what were your biggest misconceptions about how YouTube promotes videos?
I thought YouTube's algorithm was a mysterious black box that randomly selected winners and losers. I'd spend days perfecting videos that would get 50 views, while something I threw together quickly would suddenly get thousands. It felt completely arbitrary.
So what changed your perspective?
MrBeast said something that sparked my light bulb moment. He said, "The algorithm reflects what people want. Anytime you say the word algorithm, replace it with audience." That completely transformed my approach. I started paying attention to what truly matters, viewer engagement. I shifted from trying to outsmart a system to genuinely understanding what my viewers wanted.
What specific metrics did you start tracking that made the difference?
Watch time became my North Star metric. YouTube promotes videos that viewers watch from start to finish because they want to keep people on the platform. I created a spreadsheet tracking audience retention, where people dropped off, which segments kept them engaged, and which parts lost interest. The patterns revealed exactly what my audience valued.
Was there anything in your analytics that contradicted common YouTube advice?
Everyone told me to keep videos under 5 minutes because people have short attention spans. My data showed the opposite. My 12-15-minute videos consistently outperformed shorter ones by providing comprehensive answers to my audience's questions. The algorithm rewards depth, not brevity.
How did you test what worked for your specific audience?
I conducted controlled experiments by creating 3 variations of a similar topic while changing one variable: length, style, or format. For example, I tested how-to guides, case studies, and interviews covering the same financial concept. After 2 weeks, I'd analyze which format drove the most engagement.
Can you describe a specific experiment that yielded unexpected results?
I tested the importance of those first 5 seconds by creating 3 versions of the same video with different openings. Version 1 started with a question, version 2 with a surprising fact, and version 3 immediately demonstrated the promised outcome. The immediate demonstration outperformed others by nearly 40% in retention. Viewers stayed because I delivered on my promise right away.
How did your understanding of audience retention change your content structure?
I placed retention anchors throughout my videos, moments that build anticipation for what's coming next. Before potential drop-off points, I'd hint at valuable tips coming in the next section. I also restructured to front-load value rather than building up to it. My average watch time increased from 2 minutes to over 7 minutes per video.
When did you first notice the algorithm working in your favor?
After creating a series on debt reduction strategies, YouTube started recommending the next video in my series after viewers watched the first one. My views jumped from hundreds to thousands overnight. That's when I discovered the power of topic clusters.
What exactly is this topic cluster approach that triggered YouTube's recommendation system?
I organize my content into interconnected clusters, like 5 videos all about credit card debt, each covering a different strategy, but linked by the common theme. When viewers engaged with one video, YouTube recognized the relationships and recommended others in the cluster. This dramatically increased my views as viewers would watch 2, 3, or even all 5 videos in a single session.
Those content clusters transformed Sarah's channel growth, but she soon hit a frustrating plateau that seemed impossible to break through. What if everything you've learned about creating great videos is only half the equation? The battle for viewers' attention is won or lost before they even click play, and the psychological triggers that make the difference are surprisingly counterintuitive. Sarah, your content was solid, but something was still missing. What were you doing with your thumbnails and titles before your breakthrough?
I remember the exact moment I realized my mistake. I opened my analytics and saw a video with only 300 views despite hours of work. My thumbnails were complete afterthoughts. I'd spend 15 hours crafting a video, then hastily add a random screenshot with text in the final minutes. My click-through rates were abysmal, 1 to 2% compared to the platform average of 4 to 5%. I was creating quality content that nobody was discovering.
So you had the product, but not the packaging. What changed your approach?
A study completely shifted my perspective. It revealed that about 90% of top-performing YouTube videos use custom thumbnails. The psychology behind what makes people click became my obsession. I realized I was missing the critical opportunity to connect with viewers in that split-second decision moment when they choose whether to watch.
That's fascinating. How did you systematically test what worked?
I became methodical with thumbnail testing. I ran A/B tests comparing different designs on the same video to track which generated more clicks. I monitored everything: colors, expressions, text placement, even whether I was looking toward or away from the text. The patterns that emerged shocked me.
What were some of those counterintuitive discoveries about what drives clicks?
Expressive human faces dramatically outperformed thumbnails without faces. But here's the key: emotional contrast was the real winner. If my title mentioned something negative like debt crisis, pairing it with a positive, surprised expression created a curiosity gap viewers couldn't resist clicking. Color psychology was another revelation. Bright, contrasting combinations, yellow against blue or orange against teal, made my thumbnails stand out in crowded search results. The human eye naturally gravitates toward high contrast, making this simple change incredibly effective.
How do you balance creating titles that drive curiosity without falling into clickbait territory?
I follow my promise and deliver rule. My thumbnails make bold promises, but my content over-delivers on those promises. Instead of vague clickbait like, "I can't believe this happened," I use specific titles like "How I Paid Off $30,000 in Debt Using This Forgotten Method," then actually share that method in detail. The results were immediate, but the trust building became even more valuable. My subscriber conversion rate doubled because viewers knew I consistently delivered.
When you first implemented this strategy, how quickly did things change?
The transformation was immediate. Within 48 hours of redesigning thumbnails for my 5 most recent videos, my click-through rate jumped from 2.3% to over 6%. That video with 300 views, it exploded to 10,000 within a week. I sat staring at my analytics in disbelief. The content remained identical. Only the packaging changed. My most dramatic example was a video about emergency funds. I replaced a simple piggy bank image with a picture of me looking shocked with text reading, "I was wrong about emergency funds." That single change increased the click-through rate by 300%, becoming my first video to hit 100,000 views.
What specific technique made the biggest difference?
The emotional contrast approach transformed everything. Human psychology is drawn to emotional incongruence, looking excited about debt reduction or confused about making money. This creates an irresistible curiosity gap. I pair this with minimal, bold text that's easily readable on mobile devices. I limit thumbnail text to 3 to 4 words maximum, using fonts that stand out against any background.
Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right, but your subscriber count just won't budge? After Sarah mastered her thumbnail strategy, she faced an even greater challenge that nearly ended her YouTube journey altogether. A subscriber plateau that lasted for months.
It was honestly the most discouraging part of my entire YouTube experience. I'd improved my content quality, optimized my thumbnails, and understood the algorithm better. But my subscriber growth completely flatlined. For 3 straight months, I gained maybe 5 to 10 subscribers a week, despite putting in 20+ hours on each video. I sat at my desk one night after spending an entire weekend on a video that barely reached 200 views, thinking maybe I'm just not cut out for this. The technical aspects, the editing, thumbnails, keywords, I had figured those out, but something crucial was missing.
What changed? How did you push through this frustrating period?
I had my breakthrough when I realized YouTube isn't a broadcast platform. It's a community. I was creating content without building real connections with viewers. That moment changed everything. I developed a 30-day community growth plan, dedicating 80% of my energy to audience engagement rather than creating more content.
Most creators think the solution to growth is making more videos. What did your community approach look like?
I took a counterintuitive approach. I slowed down my publishing schedule from weekly to bi-weekly, giving me time to engage deeply with viewers. I responded to every comment within 24 hours with thoughtful replies that continued conversations. I activated the community tab, which smaller creators often ignore. I posted polls asking viewers what topics they wanted next. I shared behind-the-scenes content of my process and highlighted comments from previous videos, creating buzz on my channel even between uploads.
Were there specific engagement strategies that worked particularly well?
The game changer was my community challenge approach. I created a 21-day financial literacy challenge where viewers completed simple daily tasks and shared progress in comments. It transformed passive viewers into active participants who connected with each other. I also hosted monthly Q&A sessions, answering questions from comments. Viewers knew thoughtful questions might get featured in upcoming videos, creating anticipation and participation.
Did you leverage other social media platforms to drive growth?
Absolutely. I'd been ignoring cross-platform promotion, thinking I needed to master YouTube first. During my 30-day plan, I shared clips and insights on Instagram and Twitter. Surprisingly, Reddit drove the most traffic. I wrote valuable posts on personal finance subreddits that genuinely help people, mentioning my channel only at the end. This brought in viewers already interested in my niche.
What results did you see from this community focus?
The transformation was remarkable. Not much happened in week 1, about 20 new subscribers. By week 2, engagement doubled with comments jumping from 30 per video to over 100. By month's end, I gained 2,000 new subscribers, more than the previous 3 months combined. These weren't passive viewers but engaged community members who watched quickly, commented thoughtfully, and shared my content.
What surprised you most about this approach?
I discovered how much YouTube's algorithm values engagement metrics. Watch time matters, but likes, comments, and shares send powerful signals about your content's value. Videos with high engagement get promoted more widely. The biggest surprise was how fulfilling this process became. Making videos alone had been isolating. Connecting with real people benefiting from my content gave everything purpose again. I wasn't creating content for metrics anymore. I was building something meaningful with a community sharing similar goals.
And there you have it. Sarah's journey reveals what so many aspiring creators need to hear. YouTube success isn't reserved for the chosen few. It's built through consistent application of proven strategies and refusing to quit when obstacles arise. Did you know that approximately 70% of successful YouTubers had zero content creation experience before starting? Like a phoenix rising from uncertainty to mastery, most began exactly where you are now. As MrBeast himself said, "If you knew what I knew, you could get 10 million subscribers in 6 months. It's purely knowledge." The question isn't whether you can succeed. It's, are you willing to follow the proven path? What if today is the day your creator journey begins? What's stopping you from starting right now?